Thank you, member. Recognizing the member for Boundaries-Similkameen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To be honest, I'm astounded that the member again has mentioned the heart-wrenching situation in the Ukraine, and I'm absolutely disappointed in the use of a humanitarian catastrophe on the world stage as rationale to play politics over caring for people. The people of BC will not be hoodwinked into believing that somehow this egregious act that Putin has engaged in and initiated is a rationale to ignore our duty to our people for due process, for investment, for permitting, and for construction of projects like these. The current high price of LNG doesn't excuse us from the need to move forward safely and transparently and retain our commitments to our climate action objectives. Other than that, thank you to the member opposite for his statement and for the chance to respond. I'm pleased to know that we do share a common objective, being economic prosperity for rural British Columbia. However, where we differ, I believe, is that from what I hear from the opposition, that their vision for economic prosperity differs rather dramatically on two fronts. One, because it is limited to just that, financial prosperity at the expense of our social integrity, at the expense of our environmental health, and perhaps most importantly for the member opposite, for the expense of our long-term economic health. We care about sustainable employment, social cohesion, and environmental functioning as well as revenue. These are not mutually exclusive, but it does take a little creative thought to get us there. And two, because it is built on a decades, even centuries-old model of what economic development looks like, focused on chasing smokestacks. Since the onset of the industrial age, communities have been regularly getting hoodwinked by this short-sighted vision, enticed by glossy sales campaigns.
Excuse me, member. I'd ask you to withdraw the word hoodwinked. I ruled it out of order last week, and I would ask you to withdraw it at this time.
Even if, Madam Speaker, I'm referring to
communities?
I would
ask you to withdraw the comment.
I will withdraw.
Thank you. And I would remind members that this is the nonpartisan part of the morning.
Thank you. Our vision is broader than the narrow and short-term political wins. That's why we have a strong commitment to climate action through our CleanBC roadmap, a roadmap that, for the record, is expected to generate 18,000 direct and spin-off jobs with good return financially, socially, and environmentally. And I would note that my part of the world is rural, rooted in resource extraction, mining, forestry, agriculture, and so on. Things like high cost of fuel do hit us hard because driving almost anywhere means we have to go up and over mountains to get to the services we need. But we've also seen very explicitly that the costs of inaction on climate are painful. The expense of ignoring climate action comes with enormous personal, social, and financial costs that we are all struggling to shoulder. We are exhausted from the floods, fire, heat, and droughts that are costing us too much. The opportunity for financial wealth right now cannot come at risk of having our communities washed down the river or burnt down again. So it is critical that, as has been said, we will not abandon our climate commitments, and we will not cut corners on the environmental assessments that protect people, land, and water. These processes are in place for the sake of all of us, including our neighbours, communities, and indeed our children's children. The member from Skeena has previously discussed how he cares about sustainable employment and financial reconciliation. I'm pleased, since this is again something that we agree on. Where we differ, perhaps, is the time frame. If we want forward-looking and effective economic independence for First Nations, if we want good jobs for our children's children in a world that is safe and secure, then all indicators are that future LNG expansion isn't the answer. Look to exemplary First Nations action like what we've seen with the Soyuz Indian Band. I'm sure you've heard the stories of the good work that Chief Clarence Louis and his team are doing there, investing in tourism, agriculture, small business, forestry, cannabis, energy utilities. These are the kinds of projects that provide good and sustainable jobs, diversified and resilient revenue lines, economic independence, and they don't destroy natural and social capital to create that wealth. We should be talking about what the people of Kitimat or Lytton or Princeton or Okanagan Falls want to see their economy and their culture and their community look like in 10 years or 20 years, and working towards that together. The long-term forecasts from industry that I see for future LNG development don't look particularly rosy. In contrast, I see our government's investments into actual human capital of our province as extremely promising. Investments in the skills and structures to help individuals thrive in their rural communities for generations to come without huge environmental price tags. Clean tech, skills training, agriculture ingenuity, healthcare, bioeconomy, the list is long.
Thank you, member.
Thank you.